welcome.
We're gathered today.
We got it together. We're gathered here today.
In the Lord's name.
In the Lord's name. Amen.
Amen.
Or as Eric calls it,
Hail
a
Mary.
Hail Mary. Well, we want to welcome my favorite guest, Sophia.
Yeah, thank you. It's good. I'm excited to be here. I was like, I've been looking forward to it, and I listen every single week, so it's cool to be actually a part of the process.
Studio.
Yeah,
in the studio. Love it.
What did you call it? The famous
A famous
living
couch.
room.
I walked in through the front door. I'm like, oh, is that where you do it? And it was, and it is. It's very cool. I
love
took a
it.
picture. I took a selfie.
I love
with
it. Of course
Just
you
so
did.
when you guys go famous, I'll be like,
I was
this is
on the
where-
couch where it started.
Where it all
Exactly.
started.
Exactly.
For people who don't know, who is Sophia?
Sophia is my sister. Sophia is
Middle.
the middle child.
Yes.
And yeah.
You
she's
said
just-
favorite. I thought you were gonna say favorite sister.
I
You
know,
said
I
favorite
did too.
guest.
I was like,
It's
dang.
whoa.
They're
Gonna start some
bold.
beef. In the,
I know,
the
seriously.
first
Gotta
2 minutes.
Gotta
No,
watch what I
yes.
say.
I'm your little sister, the middle one.
Yeah.
I'm very different from the sisters.
I wouldn't say we're all like special.
Different.
I think you and I look special, yeah. I think you and I look the most alike though. You're like my little mini me.
I'm worried we sound alike too. So this is me, Sophia.
Perfect. Well, we want to start off because Sophia does like tarot cards and witchy stuff. I don't know how
do.
else to say it.
Practice
but
witchcraft.
Yeah, and we wanted to do tarot to like open up before we talk about what we're talking
Love
about today.
to.
So who should go first?
Well, we could do like either a group thing or individual, like a.
I
want
wanna
to
do individual.
Okay, yes, you do. Yeah, this is my deck. This is my Modern Witches one because it has like witch women on every single one of the cards. It's really beautiful art. I really appreciate it. I don't know who it's by. Lisa Sterile.
You guys are both really good about like saying, like giving credit. When
Yes?
when you like talk about a book or talk about something, you always say who the author is. And I'm like, yeah, I read this cool book about something
About
and it was
whatever.
good.
Yeah. I want to go first.
Okay, we could do 3.
Okay.
So how do tarot cards work? What does this mean?
I practice divination, which is like the whole finding answers to things, and that's the pendulum with the yes no little compass under it, and it's basically finding answers through physical physical materials. And like the way I used to describe it when I did it back in the day, like a few years ago, I would always say I'm a vessel and my cards are a vessel for answers of the universe to kind of come through and channel. And I think it's also important to know that you can take what resonates with you and leave what doesn't. So if none of it resonates with you, that's fine. It's like not a bash on me or a bash on you. It just kind of doesn't align sometimes. So
I like that you open up with that because I feel like sometimes I've actually never gone to get my like tarot reading done before by like a professional or pay for it.
Yeah.
But I feel like with you, we've done it before a lot in the past actually, and I feel like it's very much like that. Like you either take whatever it is you're saying and this is it and it applies to your life or what you're feeling with,
Yep.
or if it doesn't, then the cards look cool and that's that. So
Exactly.
perfect. Well,
I'm having mad deja vu right now too. I
that's
don't know.
perfect. It means you're supposed to be exactly where I feel.
You
I've
are.
read that before. If you have deja vu, it means you're like on the right path.
Ooh, well, I like to hear that.
Yeah.
So you have the Empress, Page of Wands, and 7 of Swords. There are 2 types of cards in a tarot deck. There's the Major Arcana and the Minor Arcana. Major Arcana are like the Empress, Death, the Tower, those cards, the big, overarching storyline cards. And then the court cards, the Wands, Swords, Pentacles, and
Can't remember the other one.
I can't remember the 4th one.
And it's okay.
And Cups.
cups.
And Cups are the courts of the Minor Arcana, and those are a little bit more day-to-day life, specific people, specific places, specific energies. So the Major Arcana will kind of speak on your life or like the path you're on currently, and then Minor Arcana cards will kind of fill in a little more details.
Okay.
So you got the Empress, the Page of Wands, and the 7 of Swords. Like I said, I like to use my book sometimes. I usually don't read reversed. Like, people will say, oh, the Empress reversed. I don't usually read reversed cards.
I don't even know what that means.
Like if it's upside down.
Yeah, like if like these would all be reversed. But I always read them. I just read them right side up anyway. I don't read reverse cards usually ever. Just that's a personal preference of mine. And usually what it means is the meaning, but kind of flipped on its side. That's why it's reversed. So if the Empress reverse could mean, trying to bring in that Empress energy and trying to bring in that kind of wholeness, bringing life to things. But I don't read reversed. But yeah, that's what it would be, just the meaning on its side or kind of specifically indicating something.
Fucking dogs, dude. Okay, Empress.
Empress. Love is everything. The Empress is feeling herself. This benevolent goddess is alive and truly connected to the world and others through passion and pure emotions. The Empress is empowered by her love and sexuality, and her energy flows through everything around her. She gives life to the lush vegetation and receives life from the powerful river.
The alcoholic river.
I hate all of you guys.
The river of
Just
never-ending mimosas. Mostly champagne. She welcomes pleasure and feelings and fills each moment with ecstasy. Think less, feel more. Embrace self-love and use that self-love to build stronger, more profound connections with family, friends, or lovers. Be fulfilled by your social circles and those who love you. Drink from the cup of love and not mimosas. You can find deep meaning and fulfillment. Love, love, love. It's all here for you. Just let it in.
I like that. And then this is what it looks like. I'm going to show the camera really quick.
Lovely.
That's so perfect for this episode.
that
This honestly
the
is so
major
perfect.
arcana, so that's kind of like I said, the overarching, like not going to detail one specific thing going on in your life, just kind of overall what can be brought in.
Perfect.
Page of Wands. Wands signifies fire signs, and so you're not a fire sign. You're also a water sign, and that water is.
I think I'm
you're
air.
air. God damn it. Air is swords.
Page of Wands.
And Page of Wands is like the Ace of Wands or the First of Wands, usually beginnings. And I really like the page cards because they do depict a little bit more of like adolescent women or adolescent witches. And this one, she has her little her hair up.
She does look
in
young.
a ribbon, facing forward, really determined. She has her sneakers on. It looks like she's ready to go out. She's kind of ready to face whatever is ahead of her, and that's like her side profile looking only sideways. I love analyzing the physical artwork on the card because it can really provide a lot of detail on kind of what the card means, and that's why, like, when you don't need the book, that's kind of what
people go off of.
Exactly. Yeah, where they know what the card is about because the minor or major arcana, the court cards, and like what rank they are. But I like to use the book because I also think like what is written is really good. I mean, there's a book there for a reason. So, Page of Wands. The page is always bursting with new ideas, new things to do, new things to learn and study. She wants it all, but doesn't quite yet have the maturity to focus on following through with her fleeting passions. Everything is possible and it's exciting. If the page is you, you're in an experimental stage, so try everything and follow your whims. Eventually, you'll find something that clicks. Okay, so kind of like new adventures, trying out a little bit of every path, taking bite of every little thing to see what you like, kind of thing.
I like that.
And I like it also because it kind of gives like a little pressure off your shoulders where if you feel like you need to find one thing, you kind of don't really need to.
Yeah,
you can try what's going to click.
Ties in with last week's episode on our
Exactly.
20s. These are
Exactly.
all
Coming to full circle.
I love it. And like I said, swords is the court cards of air, of the air sign.
So that's Ellie.
So 7 of swords. Oh, and we got
think
the
you
7 bus
too.
yesterday.
Am I an air sign? Is Aries air or
Aries
fire?
is fire.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Seven of
Swords. Sometimes in life, we can't be completely open and honest. A little lie, even just one of omission, may be tactfully required in a challenging situation. Maybe you're dealing with a truly awful coworker or an abusive relationship, and you need some secrets to keep yourself safe. Just be careful that your deceit isn't hurting yourself or others, and that it is truly the best way to deal with the situation. Okay.
Interesting.
Left turn. Interesting. Okay, so you have the Empress, the Page of Wands, and the Seven of Swords. What specifically like resonated with you? Specifically, like any phrases that I said or words?
I think the Page of Wands and then the Empress and then the last one. I don't find myself like too deceitful, but I feel like what you were saying on that one, like I could find a little bit more, but I think the Page of Wands, I think, is the one that's most, just because we talked about this a little bit last episode.
I wonder if you're like lying to yourself, like if this is kind of, because this is a very you focused, like find what you like,
right?
Your self-love. I wonder if this is, even if you're lying to yourself a little bit,
yeah.
And that's where it said kind of included in the end, where make sure like this isn't hurting yourself or others.
Yeah,
like you could be even keeping something from yourself.
Yeah, that's very true. But I think just like what you said in the middle one of just like trying everything, like you have all this adventure, like when you explained this one of like the adolescence, I feel like that's something that I've been trying, is to find the adolescent part of myself and become a little bit like more focused on that and like adventure. And this almost looks like she's about to start like on a trail, and I think very much like that's how I feel right now, is I'm just trying to say yes to as much as I can and put myself out there and all of these things. The Empress, just because like wow, she's so beautiful, and also I want to be like the Empress. So I think those two are like the most like what I took away from that the most. So thank you.
You are very welcome. I love it. Ooh, okay, lovely. If you wanted to hold on to those for like the rest, or we can mix them
I want to see. I want to hold them.
So I did a little mixy mix. You have the World. Some things coming to the end for some good reasons, and 4 fell out. I'm not choosing favorites, but 4 fell out. So I picked up 4.
That's okay.
All right. You have the World. This is for you, Erica.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. You have the World, Queen of Pentacles, the Lovers, and 9 of Pentacles. So you have a lot of this materials. That's what Pentacles usually are a strong symbol for like material wealth, or like physical materials that we consider wealthy in our realm. Yes.
I was dress shopping for like the last hour, so
oh, yes.
If that's saying I'm materialistic, then oops.
Whoops.
Cool.
All right. We have 2 major and 2 minor arcana cards. Those are our major, the World and Lovers, which people like to see sometimes, and the Queen of Pentacles and 9 of Pentacles. Pretty high numbers, pretty significant. I love those.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, sometimes details can like show a little bit more than what the words say. Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of gardening and vegetation. I mean, there's roses in here, and even on this one we have on Eve's side, or like the woman's side, we have the apple that was in the Garden of Eden. We can start with the World. World, it has these amazing infinity signs. It usually means, like how we know karma, it all comes full circle. Stories come full circle, unless they're lame. Life usually comes full circle, our little story arcs that we have in our personal daily lives. The World signifies the ending and beginning of something. Kind of that infinity sign, the circle, the loop. I have no idea what sign, like Aries is. I'm pretty sure that's Leo.
Yeah, I
That's
was looking
Taurus,
for
and
Aries on there. I don't
think
see it
so.
on
And
there.
that's Scorpio and Aquarius. But yeah, loving the woman in the center of attention, this beautiful dancing motion. Interesting, a lot of movement and power and energy coming into this closing off or beginning. Like it could be both, and that's what I'm saying, where as one door closes, another one opens. So maybe you're stepping out of something and at the same time simultaneously stepping into something. And hopefully that is this Queen of Pentacles energy, which says the Queen is rich in more ways than one. She has a stable and simple life that she is filled with things, people, and activities that bring her joy. She is nurturing and generous, seeks to bring happiness and provide a sanctuary to those she loves. If you are the Queen, it's time to be nurturing and caring. It could be as simple as taking some time to cook a meal for a good friend, or buying a cute plant for someone special. be kind, it suits you. Okay, so like a little bit more like
Giving.
Like you've been caring for yourself, a little bit more giving, kind of that wanting to share your wealth of love with others. You know, hopefully that well inside you, that spring inside you is filling up where you feel comfortable enough to offer that to others as well. And possibly, you know, with this giving energy and the lovers following up after. So ending of beginning or something and then realizing this potential you have to really pass on kindness to others, like you just being a vessel for kindness, could be the path that opens up into, like you said, this intimate love that you want to share with somebody else, you know, because it's hard to have a relationship like that.
No, you're good.
It's difficult to have a relationship with like that when you don't feel like you receive enough or the other person doesn't also receive enough from you or whatever.
This is great.
Oh, thank you.
This is way better than my bachelorette trip tarot
Yay!
reading.
Oh, I'm glad. And then with the lovers afterwards, again, this is a major arcana, so this kind of overarching story, something a little bit more bigger than a specific person or a specific situation.
Mm-hmm.
Through love, we can reach new heights. The lover's card is full of beauty, stars, wishes, hopes, and dreams. Two hearts, minds, and bodies become one. The lovers create a wholly unique and special place, a paradise of mutual respect and adoration. All protective walls are torn down, leaving us naked and perfectly ourselves. Together we see beautiful dreams through our unclouded eyes, and we do things we never thought we could. We make each other stronger through trust. The world sings, and nothing is impossible. You're feeling lucky in love, drunk in love, maybe a little crazy in love. There's a chance that these new feelings come with a choice to make. So embrace your desires and trust your heart. The lovers represent all kinds of love, especially that person in your life who makes you feel like you could climb mountains. Oh, that's interesting, because you were just climbing. You don't like them that much. You know who they are. Treasure your time with them, walk on air, and wish on shooting stars. Let your days and nights be filled with love.
Wow. I hope it's this NBA player that I messaged.
Right?
I hope he's going to message me back.
He will. I believe it.
This message is the one that stood out to me the most. You're like, I know it's it. I manifested it. It's really awesome. I love this card because it kind of ties back in. Like when we looked at love, I'm still sort of a teenager-ish, but like teenage love where this is wild and crazy and want to do the most crazy passionate things just for another person. I feel like this kind of draws out that energy where truly at its core love can feel like that. Love doesn't always have to be the super adult mature. It could be like fun and wild and makes your heart race, and I think that's a good thing. So possibly looking out for this person who, you know, with the judgment angel on there, where you don't feel that judgment. You just kind of feel yourself, and I love how they are naked. Does bring in a little bit of that biblical imagery with Adam and Eve. We got the snake lingering on there in the apple, which it's okay. But even like this cloth of the angel, it looks like a mountain in the sky. Things that seem impossible suddenly aren't impossible anymore, and you're open to love, and someone's open to your love, which I think is really beautiful.
Well, I like it because it can mean a lot of different things. Like you can take it into like the intimacy, but also just like a like a lover in general, just like loving things and loving people around you too. I love that.
Yeah.
Me too. 9 of Pentacles. Everything is wine and roses right now. You can finally get comfortable and enjoy it. You've made smart decisions, managed your time and money wisely, and now you can sit back and enjoy the fruits of your labor.
This is our trip, Ellie.
Yeah, this is our trip. This is our trip.
If we're telling a story right here, this is our trip.
Yes.
Love it. Treat yourself to something decadent. You've truly earned it.
Oh
So
my
yeah,
gosh,
I love
this
that.
is
Like
so
our
the
trip.
hard
Exactly.
work paying off.
Giving
You
back.
really get to see, and like even in your Page of Wands, you can look at this one. It's definitely an older woman. Definitely some time has passed as well. And that's also
interesting
something that
that
I
they do
say
that.
where I'm like, like before you were like, oh, tell us your future. I'm like, I'm not gonna tell you your future, but I will tell you that with time, things change. And this could, the way I see tarot is I use it specifically different where really weird questions come up and I want them answered or I want guidance. I definitely use it as a guiding tool where what kind of energies can I bring into this or what have I been ignoring in this situation that might help clear things up. So sometimes that's kind of how I use them a little bit more specifically. But in this general sense, it doesn't feel active to me. More of a behind the scenes, like things in the universe is kind of going on in your favor. And that's why I like the 2 major arcana cards, because like I said, those aren't specific. Those are a little bit more worldly powers, things that kind of happen, these kind of archetypes we all go through. And that's why tarot card could be so relatable, because we do experience every single one of these things at different moments. I see a behind the scenes where something closing off, like maybe you don't know, you haven't specifically stopped anything or began anything. It just already has happened. Like you're already kind of on this journey. The Queen of Pentacles leading into the Lovers and the 9 of Pence. Like I said, there was a lot of this materialistic energy that you have not been active towards, but like I said, all that behind the scenes where you kind of eventually start to see it flow in, which I think is really cool. And I love how the Lovers is not materialistic, but it is like a person is materials. And kind of this wealth of intangible assets, which I think is beautiful.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yes. I really like that.
Well, thanks so much for telling our future.
Yes.
I just real quick before we dive into the next thing, I wonder if you could share a little bit about these crystals that you have up and maybe kind of like why you chose these ones, what they mean to you, their significance, before we dive into our episode.
Cool. I chose them because they were the first crystals I saw while walking out the door as I was late trying to drive here.
Okay.
Not here, but to
the
Oakland.
airport.
Yeah.
But I usually I have crystals in my purse, in my car, in my backpack. I'll just find them. I'm like, oh, hey, that's nice. I just like bringing them no matter where I go. I didn't specifically choose these for anything. I just kind of like the way they feel. This one, I was flying, and I wanted to be really super safe. This is onyx, like black obsidian, huge protection, and I love it because it's a crow.
Obsidian is what they used to fight White Walkers in Game of Thrones.
What do they call it?
Just
Dragon glass?
Dragon
Oh,
glass.
that is so cool.
Yeah. Sorry, just
No,
nerding
that
out
is
over
okay.
here.
That is okay. But yeah, speaking of a crow, don't they have the 3-eyed crows?
Yeah, Raven.
Raven?
Raven, yeah.
Whatever.
And then the next one.
That's one. Amethyst, birthstone, love it. Brings out funky energy, just kind of like fun. It helps me feel better, like, about being myself, and about like just not having really any shame towards who I am, or just like whatever, I am who I am, and that's what you're gonna get, and if you don't like it, that sucks for you. So and I don't really know what this one is, but it's purple and it's really pretty.
It is really pretty.
So that's kind of why I have it on me, because it's small, portable. It's just a super cute crystal. But it's got some purple, some black in there, so I'll call it
Purple black.
Purple black. And citrine. Citrine is a heated up amethyst, but it does have like a different composition inside or something, so it is technically a different crystal. I love it because, like I said earlier, when the sun hits it, it looks like gold, like a piece of gold nugget. And citrine, I definitely feel it as a happy crystal. Like it's all like the yellow, the color of usually happiness, or like what people associate it with. Exactly. So I don't know. I like to feel protected. I really enjoy knowing that other than myself, I feel protected in an otherworldly sense. I know I can protect myself, but it's kind of nice where I'm like, okay, I have my crystals in my bra, I have my crystals in my bag. I'm good. I could get through anything. It's definitely a tool to help me conquer the day.
I love that.
I have them all laid out right there. I wish I could have all of them. I just love having crystals. I think they're beautiful. Whether I don't need them in every situation, I just like looking at them. I think they're a pretty decoration and a pretty thing to look at.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for sharing.
Yes.
What a great way to start.
I've been talking for 30 minutes.
No, that's literally what happens. Okay, well, that was perfect. Well, I wanted to kind of dive into the topic that we're talking about today, and I wanted to share why I want to talk about this and then give you an opportunity to kind of explain your side. But I think, like, I wanted to talk about self-love today because when I think of self-love and loving myself, honestly, the first person that comes to mind is you. I think, like, ever since we were kids, or you were a kid and I was your older sister, you have just been, like, unapologetically yourself, always, 100% of the time. And kind of what we were talking about on the beach a few days ago is you're just yourself. You've always loved yourself. You've always been, like, who you are. You've never been, like, apologized for who you are. Very funky, very into it, and I've always loved that. And then kind of you've, like, been like that kid into middle school, and then into high school you kind of got into this relationship, and I saw kind of that like funky side of you, that self-love kind of almost disappear a little bit, like that spark in your eye kind of disappeared a little bit. And of course, like, as your older sister, I got a little frustrated with it. But I was just more so of, like, where is it? Like, when is she gonna find that again? And then the relationship ended, and I really saw this, like, climb for you, like, literally the Miley Cyrus song, The Climb. Like, I really saw that in you, where you had made this decision in yourself of, like, okay, this really shitty thing happened to me where I gave, like, again, I'm speaking for you, so change anything if you want to, but, like, you gave you gave a lot to this one person, and like you were saying before, this teenage love can be so much, where you just, like, give everything, and I've done that. I feel like Erica's done that. Like, it's so passionate, it's so, like, you really do give all of yourself, and so when that ends, it's hard to find yourself again, and it's hard to, like, love yourself again, especially if it ends in a more difficult way, maybe not so much, like, amicably. Wow, okay, never mind, not even gonna try to say that word. Okay, perfect. And then I really saw it bloom into your adult self, like, you started, like, finding your own, like, fashion, your own, like, makeup style, your own way of, like, speaking about yourself, and to people you found, like, tarot and crystals, and you found the kid that I saw, like, my little sister, like, that's just, like, this is me, like, what you just said at the very beginning, like, you can love it, you can hate it, you can take it, you cannot, but this is me, and I'm not going to apologize for it. So I just wanted to, like, dive in. I want to hear your story about it, and then also just, like,
what does self-care mean to you, though? Like, when you think of, or, like, self-care, self-love,
I don't know.
What does it mean to love yourself?
That's a fucking hard question. I don't know. I think it can mean a lot of different things. I think for me, it can mean, like, for me,
what do you want it to mean
specifically is my, like, negative talk to myself. Like, I would want to shift that into, like, positive. I think it's, like, the person in my head, like, my little person speaking back to me, because I can stand in front of the mirror or just, like, see myself and be like, I love myself, but if, like, this little girl in here isn't saying it, I'm not gonna believe it. And so I think, like, when I think of that, I think of you and how, like, maybe the little person in your head is always saying that to me. And I know it could be, like, an off day or something, but I just wanted to talk about, like, how to, like, self-love, especially, like, how to find it and continue that practice even as, like, a younger adult, so that you have that when you're an older adult. How do you think I hit on my story of your self-love journey?
I mean, that was pretty much how I saw it. I remember really just being myself as a kid, and people would always be like, "That's weird." I'm like, "What's weird?" What's weird about it? I don't really understand. But then I kind of grew up and I was like, okay, I was a little weirdo, but I liked it. And it is, I truly think another big thing about kind of what helped me tap into just that person you were talking about, myself, is some, like, the inner child work, where possibly the parts of you that you had, quote, grown out of or left behind because of something, trauma plays a huge part, especially in our childhood, of, like, how our inner child reacts to things. So I asked you, like, what is self-care to you? Sometimes I specifically cater to that inner child, and that's why sometimes I could be, like, a little fun, funky, a little silly sometimes, because all of those aspects, the inner child, the inner teen, and the inner adult, they all work together to form you, you know, and to form yourself. That kind of like the Holy Trinity kind of thing, the God, Jesus, and Holy Spirit, they're all of one thing, but separately they mean different things, and they symbolize kind of different themes and aspects of ourselves. I know I am the guest, but I am very interested in your guys' journey of self-love and like where you are now with it. What experiences, if any, really pointed out the lack or like wealth of self-love that you had or have with yourself at any specific point?
That's
like
very interesting.
Like if there was any one moment where you're like, wow, like I love this. This is all me, and I really just enjoy this, because sometimes it's about holding on to those moments as well, where you know it's attainable, where you know you can get to a point of self-love again or eventually, you know.
Just because like one thing happened or like something negative or like you were saying that or trauma, like you can go back to it if you think about that moment.
Or think back to it in order to move forward towards something attainable.
That's interesting. I think for me, you know, your question of like what self-love is for me, I think it's just like I really struggle with self-love. I think I am very negative about myself all the time, but I think I've been like that forever. I think I've always had like a negative like voice in my head. But I think like my goal now is just to like what we were talking about a few days ago is just like I just want to stop saying negative comments about myself. Like even if I feel that way, I just want to twist it. So like well, I forget what my example is. Like for some reason, if I'm like looking in the mirror and instead of being like, wow, like you look fat today, it's like, wow, maybe I don't like, I know you're going to say something, but like,
I'm gonna say she.
Not necessarily like, I don't want to say that to myself because I don't really like those words. And two, it's just like, it just sounds so negative when I just like say it like that to myself. So just shifting my voice to be like, why do I associate, like, is today just not my day? Yeah. And then change it to be like, okay, you know what? Today's not my day. I'm not looking the flyest today. So I think, like, that's kind of my goal for self-love. Yeah. I do really think, though, like, self-love is just something I've always struggled with. I don't think I've ever had, like, a moment where I'm like, wow, I really loved myself in this moment. So it's just, like, an ongoing, like, kind of learning experience.
Okay,
What about you? What's your self-love journey?
I feel like the like switching point for me, like when I was a kid, I feel like I was just happy. Yeah. Like I look back at pictures of myself when I was a chunky little girl, but I don't remember like being self-conscious of that. Like it was just like me. I was just there, and I've always been boy crazy, but I think the flipping point was in middle school when I like lost some weight and like guys started to notice me. And like I had like middle school is just such a weird time.
It really is.
And like you have all your hormones and all these things happening, and you're like don't know what's going on with your body, and everyone's trying to like figure themselves out. And so I feel like that was when I started to like struggle and place a lot of worth in like physical appearance. Was around that time. And then I think too, like growing up swimming, like you're in your swimsuit all the time. You can't really like hide if you have a bad skin day. You can't really like if you're feeling bloated or whatever, like everyone's gonna see it.
Everything's out, literally.
Everything's out. So I feel like that was like I would ebb and flow with that of feeling like super confident, and then other days feeling like I just want to like pull my mask over my face and like no one look at me. I just don't want to be here. But I think that all stemmed from like allowing my concern about what other people think of me. And I feel like when I like go camping or when I never see myself, I do not think like I am ugly or like struggle at all. It's only when I'm like, I don't know, like really analyzing. Like literally when you look at those mirrors in the store that are like the magnifying mirrors and you're like, oh my gosh, my pores, like everything, what is happening? But I also feel like I've done a lot of work, and I've told Ellie this before, of just being like, this is me. And like, I don't want to live my whole life hating this person because this is who I am. And my mom used to say stuff like this to me when I was a little shitty teenager of like, you don't treat your friends this way. Like, why are you treating me this way? But I think that same goes for like yourself. Like, I would never say things to my friends that I've said to myself.
Yeah.
Amen.
And
That's
so, like,
very
why
true.
would I ever, why do I, like, do that sometimes? Or, like, I told Ellie about this podcast that I listened to that was, like, pretty harsh. And, like, the premise was, like, if you don't, like,
What was it?
it was like, if you're not dedicated, you're ugly or something. Like,
Oh, what?
but
Oh.
the takeaway I took from
Okay.
it was like, if you can't keep commitments to yourself, like, you're showing yourself such a lack of respect. Like, I will make plans and commitments with my friends. I committed to a 8 a.m. date on a Sunday. Like, I will do what I can to make something work, but when I, like, make a plan for myself,
Yeah.
then I can easily be like, no, or, like, flake on myself or back out of it. And I feel like that is an area that I'm, like, working on right now, because it's like, I know all these things that I want to do and that I would feel better if I did them, and I will, like, sabotage myself. And
It's weird. Why is it so hard to put ourselves first, but so easy to put ourselves on the line for other people? I think that's a huge thing about putting yourself first, you know, and choosing yourself. And also, I mean, like you said, it's an ever ongoing journey. It's a path we kind of follow all throughout life. There's no, like, oh, end destination, you made it, good for you, like, you love yourself.
It's constant.
That's awesome.
It's a constant.
It is, because, you know, there'll be times where you kind of have to listen to both voices, your own voice, the inner child, whatever, that little voice, however you describe it, and it'll be an internal battle, like, of turmoil going on, where you want something and you know you crave something for yourself, and then there's kind of this feeling of like being judged, or, you know, not people pleasing, not making others around you happy, when you're like, oh, I'm fine being sad if, like, others around me are happy. If I can provide them with happiness, I've done something worthwhile. Where when you make yourself happy and other people might be a little disappointed, like, you canceled on a plan, or you're like, actually, I would rather, like, go out by myself, or, you know, whatever. It's so much easier to put yourself on the line and put your emotions and mental health on the line, instead of putting yourself first.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing. That's a huge exercise that I try to do, of, like, trying to analyze a situation or sit with a debate I'm having with myself and be like, what do I really want? Like, what do I need even? Like, I need to do a lot of homework, so I probably shouldn't stay out, you know, and all these factors come into play, and it really helps. Like you said, you brought something up about, like, credibility, or, like, respect towards yourself, where you can, you know, I also try and work at that, where I either tell myself I need to get a few pages of homework done by this time, and it feels amazing when you do it, because it is that commitment you make to yourself, and that, you know, that means you are prioritizing your own, like I said, kind of health and like mental place, mental health.
Well, I like what you said too about, like, self-care. I think, like, I've always tried to do self-care to myself, and you hear self-care, it's almost like a catchphrase now, of, like, self-care being shoved out, especially with media. But I think too, it's like, I think we've talked about this before, is, like, setting dates with yourself, or, like, promises with yourself, just to, like, hit, like, if I can just wash my face every single day, and it may seem, like, very basic to somebody else, but to me, like, sometimes that's literally all I can do to take care of myself. But it is true, like, what you were saying too is, I was reading this book, it's called Single on Purpose. I can't remember his name. I want to say, like, John, I don't know.
Credit.
Gotta give credit where credit's due. But I got to this chapter, and this is the part where I stopped, is exactly what you were saying, is listening to your body. Because I think sometimes, like, I'm so aware of everything else that I am just like, okay, yes, okay, no, I want to do this, I don't want to do this. But sometimes, like, just because I say yes or I say no, I don't think I've actually, like, listening to myself, like, really just, like, okay, what is it right now that I need? Or what is it that, like, my body is telling me, my mind is telling me that I need? And so I'm really trying to get better with that, of just listening and hearing myself, of what my body is telling me, because sometimes it can be like, go, 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 I have to do this. Like, this is what I have to, everybody else is doing it, so I need to do it. And I don't really have a great example right now, but it's just like trying to listen to myself and be a little selfish. Like, how do I put myself first? Don't know how. I'm trying, but it's going.
I think the thing with that too is like you can do it for like a few days and then you slip up, and then we're so hard on ourselves for slipping up, when it's like if someone else slipped up or like didn't, like, I would not care. I literally do not care. I wouldn't be upset with them. I'd be like, yeah, no worries, like it happens. But then with ourselves, we're like, you stupid idiot, like why? Like, you couldn't just do it for 4 days, like,
and now I'm not gonna do it.
Now
it was
you
too
like
hard,
give up on yourself
or give up. Exactly. Where it's like too big of a hump to get over. You're like, I can't. If I couldn't do it for 4 days, how am I supposed to do it? Exactly. And I think that's sort of like your negative self-talk. And this has just popped into my brain where I like the phrase also, or the word self-compassion, because self-love, like, we are taught, especially as women, we are taught to love ourselves and love our bodies when they look a specific way. When that golden hour's on, when you're in that cute outfit, like, boom, of course you should love yourself. You look beautiful. But having self-compassion for yourself at all when times. You don't look at like that. When you haven't gotten out of bed, when it's hard to clean up the house, when, you know, maybe you haven't been the nicest friend to somebody, it's really important to have this self-compassion with yourself where, you know, being soft and being easy, you know, like you said, how you would treat a friend. Like, it's okay. Some people have bad days. And to be that person for yourself, I think is more than it's, I just, you know, when no one else is around, it's really comforting to know that you have yourself. And I think that's a feeling, like, whether to chase it, where you don't feel alone. You feel like I've got my back. So I'm good. I love that. You know, I can travel solo, but I'm the one there for me if no one else is here around. I have this self-love for myself when I'm doing my best, when I am, you know, being charitable, you know, being a super awesome friend. I'm on all my deadlines for school. I'm awesome at work. I'm being an awesome barista. Being that you're A+, you're top of the mountain person, you know? We're gonna be on the top of the mountain, and then how you guys said, and I don't know which episode, but like, and then you're valley little person. Like, I want to be in a cave. I have not been nice to people. I have not been nice to myself, especially, and it's that self-compassion is not even how you treat the external world. It's how you treat your internal world. It's how you foster your own little environment, you know, here inside, and having the self-compassion. And that's why I like it so much, because compassion is so much nicer and softer and forgiving. And I think that is very important on a journey of self-love, because not only do we have to love and care for ourselves when we're at our best, but when we're at our worst, it's when it means the most, especially for ourselves. When we pull through for ourselves, when we have our back, when we're at our lowest points, that's when that voice is there for you a little bit more. You know, and a little bit more be like, and then you have another bad day and you're like, it's okay, because last time when I didn't have a good day, last time when I was mean to this person, it's okay, I took a breath, I know I'm there for myself, and I'll come back even stronger. And so that's why I really enjoy self-compassion. It's a little bit more softer, it's a little bit less intense than self-love. Like, love yourself, you know?
No, I really like that.
We're taught to love ourselves, we're taught to love a specific version of ourselves, but we're not taught to accept or even be there,
like, all aspects. Like, 100%. Well, that's kind of leads me into a question of, like, okay, specifically for me, is I find myself at some low points. So when you are at a low point, not that we're like similar, but I feel like we're a little similar, but like when you are at your Aloy point, when you're at a low point, what are tools, what are things that you do to kind of bring that self-compassion back in? Because like you said, it is so true. There are some days where the lighting is great, or the jeans fit perfectly, the shirt fits perfectly, I just like, I get the attention, or like I catch myself in the mirror and I'm like, oh, who are you? Where I feel great. But then there are times where like I catch myself in the mirror and I'm literally like a like
animal in the mirror or something.
Exactly. So how what tools do you have to find that self-compassion when you are at a low point?
I definitely reach out. I'm like, either that or I kind of like, I'm like, what's wrong with me? I'm like, why? I don't think I've smiled in like the past 5 seconds. What's going on? I'm like, oh, I think I might be hitting that point where I'm like a little low on energy. I've been spreading myself a little too thin with school. Usually I get like myself worked up on school, you know, or just things are going on and I want to lay in bed and I took a nap and I'm like, what is going on? And it's kind of you catching yourself in the moment where you're like, okay, this is just a moment.
Yeah.
This is not, my whole life hasn't been like this. The whole week hasn't been like this. It's just been this day where I'm completely out of energy and I catch myself in the moment where I'm like, okay, I'm not at my best right now. That really helps to ground me where I'm like, it kind of gives me a little bit of hope where I'm like, okay, at least it's not
so like
forever.
just acknowledge it. Acknowledge what you're feeling in that moment.
Yeah. And then I love reaching out. I love giving you a call. You know, having,
you guys,
like
your family, I don't understand. You guys are on the phone all the time.
Oh, God. I try not to be.
We have to make our rounds. It's like everybody, like I have
to pick up Anais.
Yeah. Yes.
Anais, I know Anais is gonna want to talk for 15 minutes. Okay, then Issa and I are gonna be on the phone for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So you have to time it out.
Yeah.
No, it's good.
So
it's good you have that support system to do that.
The support system. You know, although I said it's nice to be your own person when no one else is around, but people are around. Having a support system is great. It's really helpful to have someone on the outside looking in on your situation being like, damn, that sucks, but I know it's not going to last forever and I'm here for you.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
It really is.
Extending a hand out to you, I think, is really helpful. And then I don't know, sometimes I wish I had like a little magic like bean or a little magic crystal where you hold it and everything feels better, but also it's time, because we wouldn't have mountains, we wouldn't have these really amazing points where we feel awesome about ourselves and we're the best person to those who love us if we didn't have those low points. You know, we wouldn't have mountains if we didn't have valleys to kind of where we begin. But that's the starting point of then rebuilding yourself back up.
Yeah.
And then in that rebuilding process, you kind of get soul calluses. Yeah. You're like, okay, well, I did the hard work. I know I can get through the next one.
Yeah. And we were kind of talking a little bit about this on the beach, but like, how do you like not care? I think that's where I get hung
I care
up.
A lot.
No,
actually.
Yeah. I mean, I should say, like, because when I think about self-compassion or self-love for myself, I feel very much like I'm triggered or I get stopped. Like, I stop myself because I'm so aware of what I think people are thinking of me. Yeah. And when I think of you, I just think like you just like don't. I know that you say you care, but to me, when I see you, I'm like, that girl don't give a fuck about anything. She's she don't give a shit. Like this is her. So how do you like stop caring about things that like don't matter or okay, like what other people think of you? Yeah.
The way someone feels about how I dress today on a Sunday or the way I did my makeup today is not going to affect me. It doesn't, I don't allow it to touch me. Just because when, like, you know, because I did go through a point where I think I didn't care, but I was, like, numb, which I was, like, more, I didn't care because I didn't care about anything, literally anything else. Yeah. And then as I started to care of myself, and started to take care of myself. Sorry, that stutter on that teeth was really bad. When I started to take care of myself, it became more apparent of like that was kind of a transferable skill where I came from like this numbness where at a bad place, where it's more of like numb, where it's like, okay, well, I still feel that way, but now I can use it to my advantage. Yeah. Where like it really can't hurt you. Like, Ellie, both of you guys are very beautiful and very strong women. And, like, I love this house. And when you walk down the street, you know, I hope for you that you're not in your head thinking, what does this person think about me? Like, how am I walking? I hope it isn't weird. Like, I hope my outfit doesn't, like, make my body look weird or anything. I hope, you know, for your sakes, you're thinking, I just feel good today and I just want to get a good walk in. You know, that you're just there and present with yourself. And you know, I do remember talking about this on the beach, and I said, you judge yourself through others' eyes, you know? And it's almost, not that you like it, but it's almost like it's what keeps you going.
Yeah.
Is to judge yourself and to, you know, look at yourself from this outward point of view rather than be like, what do I really think?
Yeah.
Like, is it when you look into the mirror and you're like, I don't look good, is it because you think other people won't think you look good, or do you really don't like that outfit and you should change?
Yeah,
you know,
no,
because
that's
that
a really
could
good
be
point.
a gut feeling that you're like misinterpreting as judgment or as shame for you when you're like, okay, maybe I should just change my outfit, make me feel a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more loose. And that's why I liked tapping into the inner child, because they've got such this fun, careless energy, you know, and I really enjoy that. That's kind of when I feel my happiness and my happiest. So
I definitely see that.
You know, like I said, I don't have a laid out perfect answer on how to not care, but it's just like kind of reminding yourself that it really won't hurt you. You know, trying not to judge yourself, because if everyone else is judging you as you think, you want to be there for yourself.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
very
And
true.
people don't care. Like, that's all in our head. Like, they
I was
don't
gonna
judge
say,
you.
I feel like 99% of people are so self-absorbed. They're so thinking about themselves. Like, we think that they're thinking about us, and they're really like it doesn't
careless.
faze them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
like the people
I
that do have something critical to say or are rude, it's like, how, like, what a poor lack of self-compassion you have for yourself. Like, that you're feeling like you have to say something about me.
Yes.
And yeah, I feel like the only time I can think really of someone saying something to me critically on my appearance is in like elementary school, when it's just like a mean little boy. Like, like I
Probably
can't
even liked you then.
Yeah, that's what they say.
That's what they say.
Like,
I don't know.
I can't think of any adult interaction that I've had where someone's like, "You're disgusting." Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's not happened to me. I just think like I know that I'm in my head so much and that I care so much about what people think. But it is true, like, to remind myself, like, I'm so focused on myself, so is literally everybody else. Like, they're walking down the street, like, they don't care what I'm wearing or what I look like. They're doing their thing and I'm doing my thing. It's just so hard to remember
like I said,
that.
it's a battle, and it's not for me, it's usually like throughout the day I'll go through all of the ways. I'll be like, dang, I look great, and then I'll like walk into the store and get one eye look. That was just probably random. I'll be like, damn, is it my eyes? Is it? And I start questioning myself and nitpicking things. And I'm like, girl, it's fine. Like, don't get anxious. And that really inner self-talk that you give yourself, I also think is important. That inner self-dialogue is filled with positivity and encouraging words just to get you through. Because at the end of the day, you know, you've said this before, where this is the only body you're going to have. This is the only, if you're going to be stuck with anyone forever, it's yourself, you know? And starting those like positive mantras or affirmations is just a neat way to keep phrases in your head if you can't think of anything else.
Yeah.
If you can't say, I love myself today, you can be like, I accept myself for who I am today. I accept the outfit that I wear for today.
What was that plant study that you said about the mean things that you
yeah.
say?
Cool.
About how they had two plants, same kind of plant in the same kind of living condition, and one only got negative talk. So the same amount of watering, same fertilizer, and only one just like got like shit on, basically.
Yeah.
Like, you would walk past it and say something like negative, and then the other plant was all positive. You would say something positive like, you're beautiful, you're great, whatever, to this plant. And even though they got the same amount of like nutrients, sunlight, water, and all of these things, there was a significant difference, like just outer looking of like the health between the plant that had negative talk to the plant that had positive talk. And so I try to remember that. I'm not the best, but I really think about that all the time, because I'm like, damn, like, I'm a plant. I need to be positive.
You were so nice to your new little
my curly.
You not that you keep saying, but you said this little voice. It made me think of alter egos. You know, sometimes like a persona we kind of have for ourselves.
Yeah, do you have one?
I don't think not specifically, but I do think my moods have their own little, like, when I'm feeling myself, just like walking in, like, usually I'll have music on, like that performer, like on stage, like everyone's kind of looking at me, but like in the best way possible.
I love that.
I definitely try to put on that, like, kind of energy, like really embrace that persona that I'm.
What's Beyonce's one? Sasha Fierce. She's Sasha Fierce. That's her alter ego. You guys didn't know that? Beyonce. She has her alter ego. Her name is Sasha
Solved
Fierce.
it.
Who is yours? Do you have one?
No, I don't. But I think like there are some times where
Positive alter ego.
Yeah, where I'm just like, this is like not me, because sometimes I'm so negative on myself.
Yeah.
So I think like when I'm so positive, I'm like, wow, this isn't me. I don't know who it is, but like, I don't have a name for her. I should come up with one. Ooh. I'll come up with one and I'll let you guys know.
I've always wanted to draw one. Like, people sometimes design them. I'm like, dang, that would be so sick.
Yeah,
I don't know what I'd look like.
Yeah. But, do you have any other questions for us? I know it's like I feel like I've just been like drilling you.
No, that is okay. I've just liked really being here, and I couldn't think of questions. I did want to kind of do an Uno switch or an Uno reverse and be like, do you guys have any questions for a viewer? Like, if you had any things, because I am
someone who listens to the podcast.
Listening to your podcast. I love it. It is so, I think I was telling Ellie, or I told you guys the first day, I feel target audience. Like, it hits every single point. I'm like,
fuck yes.
I just love it.
Good.
And it's like, I'm just proud of you guys, and this is like super cool. I love the evolution of like sitting on the ground and then bringing the table in.
We couldn't do it anymore.
Little things, yeah, I bet I could do a little put a pillow underneath.
Yeah,
we got better mics. We're really figuring it out.
We're doing
exactly, and
coming.
that's just kind of like a little journey. And like I said, I have a selfie, so when you guys are up on the big screen somewhere doing something amazing, I know you will be.
Yeah,
I'll be right there from the start.
Well, I'm just glad to share this space with you. I'm happy that you're here.
Flipping out, it is so cool.
Hell yeah, you're a part of it. You're on it now.
Permanent.
Hell yeah. Do you have anything you want to add?
Add or ask? I mean, all my questions would be like critical of like, how's the audio, or like, what did you hear in this, or what does this look like? But like,
sometimes I'll be listening. I'm like, I know in editing they did not like that sound that was just on or something.
Yes. Yes.
But I'm just glad. Like, I feel like you validating that what we talk about resonates is helpful and like encouraging. Because sometimes I'm like, did we just do this for ourselves? And maybe we did, and it was therapeutic, and that's great. Mm-hmm. But I also like to know that at least it's resonating and someone else can relate to it.
Yes.
So.
You'll always have a weekly listener. I'll be like, Mom, did you listen? She's like, no, I'm like 2 behind. I'm like, what? 2 behind? I could not. Having a cue like that.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny.
I love it. I like keeping updates, because it's also an update on your guys' life, and I'm interested in how y'all are doing, and that's always interesting as well.
Yeah. I do want to ask what your like highlight and low light of being in San Diego is so far.
Oh, today was pretty fun. Today was amazing for me.
That was your highlight, was today?
Highlight?
It was a lot of fun. It was so much fun.
Yeah,
we did.
The food was actually pretty bomb.
Yeah, we did the drag show, Lips Brunch, what was the gospel or whatever.
Brunch.
And it was so fucking hilarious.
I really wish
I got so drunk. I'm still suffering, guys. I apologize. But that's awesome. No, I had shut up. We don't need to bring that up. We don't need to talk about that. Yeah. We don't need to but yeah, no, that was fun. I agree with you. What else?
Highlight? Oh, dang. I would say like all of our little activities. Like, I loved the flower field. The zoo was super sick. I think the zoo was really cool.
Yeah.
I liked being on the top deck of the bus, and like we got to see all the animals play, which was adorable. Yeah. But I think I told you this, not that it's lame, but really my first day, like when I got off the plane, when I've been traveling, got up early that morning, flew here, airplane was a blast. And then I got here, I'm like, this is when the fun starts. Yeah. I'm here. Yeah. And I was really looking forward to it, and I was looking forward to being here and seeing your place, and
I love it.
I'm glad you're here. You're welcome anytime.
Yay. Thank you. I was telling Ellie, I was like, I like knowing where my family lives, just in case I need to escape my hometown or something. I'm like, I could slip under the radar and go anywhere.
Yeah, come hide
go to Florida. I could be in Georgia if anyone's still there. Go to hide out in San Diego.
Hell yeah. Always welcome.
Love it.
But yeah, well, that's what I wanted to talk with you about today. So thank you so much for sharing and being a
guru of
part of our
self-love.
podcast. Yeah.
I try.
Self-compassion too. I really liked that little addition
Mm-hmm.
into that. And yeah, you guys know where to find us, all the good things. I can't list them all right now because I'm on the struggle bus, literally.
Fly to Spec Podcast.
Boom. Yeah, that's our
Everywhere.
name. Yep.
Do you want to plug yourself?
Yeah, I'll plug myself. I'm on TikTok.
Yes, she has. Love your
Aquatorius. It's like Aqua, Taurus, and Sagittarius. Aquatorius.
Cute.
That's
on TikTok? Cute.
Yeah. I just post kind of random things. I'll also do tarot cards. If you're interested, hit me up on Instagram, Feminista Cubana.
Hell yeah.
For like tarot cards if you're interested or just to be friends. So.
Oh my gosh, Sophia, I love you so much.
Gotta
Love
flirt with the
you.
camera.
Yes, I know. Yes, I love that flirt with the camera. All right, love you guys. See you next week.
I
Bye.
love it.